Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are well. Today is the 24th of January, and it is Saturday. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful weekend so far. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support would greatly appreciated as we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer. Also, drop a like. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts down below on the news from today. And if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my food, groceries, clothing, and all of that. Outside of that, though, hopefully all you guys are doing wonderful. Let's get into today's episode. But before we do that, Ducky is here. He is here to say hello. He doesn't want to look at the camera because he's a little confused about where it is. I'm using him for the thumbnail, so look at the camera, sir. Come on, sir. No. Okay, whatever. He wants to be freed. Um, Anyways, hopefully all you guys are doing well. Let's move into today's episode, moving on into our headlines in history. For those who don't know, we have a little New York Times calendar where we read a headline from history. This is just like a calendar from the New York Times. So let's read today's headline. Today's headline is from January 24th of 1998, when a defiant on apartheid Botha gets his day in court. Okay. After apartheid ended in South Africa, the former Prime Minister and President P.W. Botha faced contempt court charges for refusing to testify before the court's Truth and Reconciliation, I cannot say that word for the life of me, I never have been able to, commissions that was examining the brutal methods and use of the prolonged systems of the racial separation. In court, he wagged his finger, I cannot read, and said that he would never apologize. The Times wrote, he was fined and received a suspended sentence. The conviction was later appealed and overturned. Of course, that one is interesting. It's related to South Africa as a whole, and horrific leaders that they have had in their country, which I believe is a very continued trend in that country. I'm pretty sure South Africa is one of the African countries who is yet successful, but does have a large amount of government corruption. But I guess that's kind of a common thing for governments these days. I mean, look at the United States. As unfortunate as that is. Anyways, moving on into the news from today. The first topic we have today from our highlight is ICE has murdered another U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. ICE has killed another U.S. citizen in Minneapolis, claiming that he was violently resisting as ICE pushed him and forced him to the ground. When he was on the ground, an officer was seen hitting him with a gun, essentially pistol whipping him, before the man was shot, and then ICE ended up dispersing. Multiple witnesses have also been detained. The man was a 37-year-old named Alex Peretti, a resident of Minneapolis, and this is the second murder by ICE this year in Minneapolis. He was also a nurse working in the intensive care unit at the Minneapolis VA hospital healthcare system. This is a massive deal. These agents attacked this man and they shot and killed him in cold blood. It's the second time that this has happened. And yet again, they are claiming it was self-defense, but it very clearly wasn't. I mean, you can go see a video of it. They have very clearly surrounded a man who had his phone out. I mean, this is what he looked like. He looked like he was holding his phone like this and recording the ICE agents and following him around. He didn't even have his gun out, They very clearly just surrounded this man, shot and killed him in cold blood. He had his phone out in his hand, and he was shot. And even if he was armed, it's legal to be armed in this country. He never touched his weapon in the first place. He never brought it out. There are multiple video angles of this proving this. He never touched his gun, even if he had one. We don't know if he did or not. It very well could have been planted, for all we know. I mean, and it's legal to be armed in the United States. Like, whoa, a white man in the United States armed himself, guys. Like, that's so shocking. No, it's not. That's like the most common thing in this country of all time. Like, ICE is a terrorist organization, and they are actively killing people in the streets. They need to go as soon as possible. Anyways, moving on into the Trump administration segment today, Trump has threatened a 100% tariff on Canada. Trump has taken to Truth Social threatening Canada over comments made by their Prime Minister Mark Carney. In this post, he wrote, "If Governor Carney thinks he is going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the United States, he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their business, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with a 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump." So they can't have a deal with the United States. They can't have a deal with China. Who can Canada work with? And I mean, that's just the dumbest thing of all time in the first place. I mean, this administration is horrendously incompetent. Instead of working with our allies, assisting them, making trade deals with them, coming over differences, trying to assist everyone we normally work with, we're going after them. We're attacking them. We're threatening them with tariffs. We're saying that they are, backwards. We're saying that they're anti-American. When that's not the case. These are American allies for a reason. They stand with the United States. And unfortunately, the Trump administration needs something to blame some stuff on. So, they're going to blame it on immigrant communities and our allies. It's not going to work. It really isn't. Nobody gives a shit about what Trump is saying on the world stage. I mean, in all honesty, nobody cares about what Trump has to say. It really is just a stupid thing that puts trade at jeopardy and causes issues on the world and global market, which, I mean, that's really all there is to it. It doesn't help anyone, doesn't benefit anyone. It just makes it a pain in the ass to do trade and to import things and to export things. Anyways, Trump is deflecting the ICE shooting by bringing up the fraud allegations. Trump has taken to Truth Social deflecting the murder of Alex Peretti by bringing up the fraud allegations in the state of Minnesota. In this post, he wrote, "This is the gunman's gun loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What is this all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor had called them off. It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job, that ICE had to protect themselves. Not an easy thing to do. Why does Ilhan Omar have $34 million in her account? Where did the tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once great state of Minnesota? We are there because of the massive money fraud with billions of dollars missing and the illegal criminals that were allowed to infiltrate the state through the Democrats' open border policy. We want the money back. We want it back now. Those fraudsters who sold the money are going to jail where they belong. This is no different than a really big bank robbery. Much of what you are witnessing is a cover-up for this theft and fraud. The mayor and the governor are inciting insurrection with their pompous, dangerous, and arrogant rhetoric. Instead of these sanctimonious political fools should be looking for billions of dollars that has been stolen from the people of Minnesota and the United States of America. Let our ICE patriots do their job. 12,000 illegal alien criminals, many of them violent, have been arrested and taken out of Minnesota. If they were still there, you would be something far worse than you are witnessing today." This is absolutely crazy that they think, a gun is such a big deal here when they didn't care about guns murdering all the children in schools. The massive issue we have with school shootings in the United States, but a white man armed himself against ICE officers, didn't even shoot his gun in the first place? Shit! Gotta tear the world down. What are we doing, guys? Truly. Boo-hoo. A man in the United States defended himself against terrorist organizations being propped up by their own government. Who cares? It's one of the most common things here. Concealed carry is legal in every single state. You can buy a gun in every single state. Shit, you can buy a gun in Walmart in some states. Why is that such a big deal now? When it isn't a big deal when it comes to school shootings. When it isn't a big deal when it comes to any other shootings. It only matters when an ICE officer is put in jeopardy, but the man didn't even bring his gun out in the first place. For all we know, this gun could have been planted. Look, I mean, the fraud is a whole different thing, and Trump is very clearly deflecting here because he doesn't want to mention the fact that ICE actively is killing U.S. citizens, which is a problem. It's not something that we should be allowing, yet the president doesn't care. In fact, from what I've heard, the president is actively going out there and supporting this. What are we doing, guys? Truly. He needs to be removed from office. ICE needs to be shut down. And I'm glad to hear that Democratic representatives, Democratic lawmakers are pushing away from their support from ICE. But that's like the bare minimum, right? That should have been done months ago, and the fact that they were still funding that is a whole problem, right? They're just not funding it now because they realize that their votes are in jeopardy. But we have issues here. ICE needs to go. Trump needs to go. And this entire administration needs to go because it is leading to the death of not just citizens, but people living in this country as a whole, which is a problem. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment where we have one final topic here for tonight. The Department of Homeland Security is telling FEMA to stop using the word ICE for the massive storm because it doesn't want to be mocked. The Department of Homeland Security has urged FEMA to avoid using the words ICE when it comes to the massive ice storm spreading across the entire country. They believe it could spark confusion online or online mockery of ICE, given their controversies, especially in Minnesota. Officials say certain phrases like "watch out for ICE" could be misinterpreted and or turned into internet fodder. Essentially, they don't want any more memes to be made out of them. Just your friendly reminder to beware of ICE in and on the streets. You know, they're going to be memed anyways. They truly are. But, you know, maybe it's just them being scared, which, honestly, if that is the case, that's pretty funny. I hope to see more and more memes of them. Maybe I'll make some myself. I'm not sure. But, you know, ICE needs to go. They are a problem, especially after killing a citizen today. Don't forget to say that. Don't forget to say his name, which is Alex Peretti. You know, these are things that we need to keep talking about, keep discussing, because if a U.S. citizen is being shot by ICE, it's very clear that they need to go. You know, this isn't the first time either. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching this video. Like and don't like and repost it. That's on TikTok. Drop a subscribe if you're new here. Thank you everyone for watching. I truly do appreciate it. And drop a comment down below. Drop a like. Let me know your thoughts on the news from today. And if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, like my clothing, like my bills and all of that. But with that being said, I think that's all I got for today. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in tomorrow's episode. Good luck out